Hello, good morning. I'm going to tell you about walnut shell glasses for using Moxa on the eyes. I made these a long time ago. They're pretty rickety. And so in Moxa class, we would play with these, but I never really trusted them. I always felt like they're going to fall apart. Anyway, in the last months, I've discovered AliExpress, which is you can order all kinds of stuff from China. And if you search there for Walnut Moxibustion, you'll find these kind of glasses that I got mine for under $10 US, counting shipping. So it's really pretty inexpensive. And some people feel these work really nicely for various types of eye problems. I'll talk about that more later. But what I want to do first this morning is generally the walnut shells are used wet. So this is like a moist heat you're going to end up having. And so what I have here is some baijuhua, some white chrysanthemum. It looks yellowish because when it's dried and it's natural, it's gonna look yellow. If it looks very white when it's dried, it means they probably use sulfur or something to keep it looking like that. So this is baijuhua, white chrysanthemum, and here's a couple of walnut shells. So here's your excuse to buy some walnuts and try carefully cracking them and seeing if you can get the shell in good shape, which probably you can't do every time, but okay. So here's the walnut shells and the baijuhua and a little bit of hot water. Okay, just enough to kind of get them wet and for the chrysanthemum to soak and make chrysanthemum tea. Of course, juhua chrysanthemum is an important herb for treating eye problems like red, swollen, painful eyes, dry eyes, and that kind of stuff. Wind, heat bothering the eyes, some liver issues bothering the eyes. And walnut shells. Walnut is an herb we know that treats the brain, even. And so the combination of the walnut shell, which serves both as like a little buffer between the eyes and the moxa heat, and treats the brain, and the juhua, which treats the eyes, and the moxa, which adds a nice warm heat, but it's buffered by the shells and it's moist because the walnut shells are soaked. So this needs to soak for, a while. So I'll come back and tell you more when the walnut shells are ready. Okay, so these have soaked for a few hours. No particular amount of time. You want them thoroughly soaked, but I had to teach a class, so class is over and I'm taking them out. Okay. Well, not going to use my rickety old ones. We're going to use my nice new ones. So this is my first time. Well, I did try putting the walnut shells in before, but not while they were wet. I haven't actually tried it yet. So like this has like a way of, you can snap the walnut shells into place. There, I got one in. Let's see if I can get the other one. Let me just make sure. Okay. Yeah. So there we have it. A little thing to dry my hands. And then you need some pieces of moxa stick. You can just cut them with a knife or scissors. Not very pretty, but they'll do. and a lighter. Okay, so there's a little cap for each of these containers, and then you have a piece of moxa stick that you put inside. There's like a little pin inside, so we're kind of sticking it on the pin. It didn't come with directions, so I'm figuring this out. I don't know for sure if you're supposed to light it first and then put the cap on. It just seems like you might burn your finger trying to put the cap on while it's already lit. So I'm going to put the cap on first and try to light it through the screen. Excuse me. So it's ready to go. It looks a little, like maybe I could bend the wires to get it more symmetrical, but let's see. Okay, so a torch lighter is probably good for lighting moxa sticks. And let's see. Goes. I think it's lit. Yeah. Okay. And now Chibo wants to participate. Okay, the second one has a little problem because it's a little bit shorter, so it's deeper in. How hot is this? It's a little bit warm. Okay, like I said, this is my first time, so we're working it out. Let's try it this way and see. Okay, it's getting lit. Now, can I get this on without burning myself? Fumble, fumble. After I've done it a few times, maybe I should have practiced first. There, we've got it. Okay, so then the next thing is to take off my glasses, and now I can't see you. And let's put this on. Okay, so we've got the moxa on the outside, then we've got a walnut shell that's moistened with Juhua chrysanthemum water, and then that's between my eyes and the smoke. So the smoke is not going in my eyes, and it will take a little while, but eventually the heat will start warming the walnut shell, and then a moist heat will start steaming my eyes. And so that's basically the treatment. The walnut shell that came with this, they had like two halves of a walnut shell that came with this, had 3 little holes drilled in it, but from the directions I've read before in the past, you don't need to drill holes in it, and like, what a pain to always have to drill holes in the walnut shells. So you would do this until the walnut shell kind of gets dried out, because you want moist heat, you want gentle heat. When the walnut shell gets dried out, you could decide, like if it was just for me, maybe I would remoisten and reuse the same shell. Of course, if it's for another patient, you're going to use a fresh walnut shell for each of them. So this is a good excuse to eat walnuts, which are tasty. So that you have the walnut shell. Was there something else I wanted to tell you? I'm starting to feel a little mild, gentle warmth coming through. You keep your eyes open mostly so that it can get in. And from what I've read, if you have contacts, you should take them out first. No contact lenses while you're doing this, just for safety. So this is supposed to treat basically all kinds of eye disorders, vision disorders or dry eyes or, whatever, any kind of a thing. And there are like places in China that use this a lot for all kinds of eye issues. Of course, other treatments you can use internal herbs and acupuncture, moxa on the body. So I probably wouldn't leave a patient unattended with this because and not lying down, this would be for sitting up. But you never know if it's hot. And of course, they have to be careful what they touch. They can't touch the moxa thing. And so then if I wanted more treatment when it burnt out, maybe I'd have two pair of glasses. So when one burnt out, I could light the moxa stick in the second pair and exchange them. Otherwise, you'll be fumbling too much to get the old ash out and put a new piece in. So that's it. It's comfortable. It's okay. My only complaint is it's stinky moxa sticks. And so my room is going to smell. But that's moxa. Okay. So, yeah, walnut shell glasses.